council committee meetings. We have a large audience tonight. If anyone would like to make any comments, the way this is going to work, we're going to have our regular committee meetings. Then at the end of that, we will have an opportunity for anybody who wants to make any comments to speak. And then we're going to have a special meeting at 8 o'clock. So at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we will have report of committees. I mean, it's not here yet. Why don't we start with general government services?
Let's take that. Chief Howard, do you have anything to add to the general service meeting?
Just a report, we've had cold weather, had 2 incidents. One, had 2 water line breaks on Richard Drive on February 1st and 2nd. Had some frozen water services on North River Road. 3 houses had frozen services. Brought in a contractor, we were able to get 2 of the lines stalled, the other one we had to run a jumper hose to. We'll be investigating the potential cause of that spring to see what can be done about that. The AMR draft specs are with the law director and reviewing those, so hopefully we'll getting those back so we can go out for bid soon on that. And the engineering for the water line replacements on Castle Gay and Game Drive and the paving for those streets along with Cathy Drive is near completion. We hope to have that maybe before council to allow us to go out for bid in March. And new meters are being installed. We're running a little bit of trouble getting access. I think about a dozen have been installed at this point, and we're sending out letters to those people who have not returned calls for installing new meters or do not have phone numbers for it. And other than that, we're still waiting to hear news on our 2013 International truck. They, I think they just brought it into the shop yesterday, finally, to see what's possible problem. That's really all I have.
And Mr. Mayor, do we have any, we've got on the website, any traffic or movement on that? The website updates or the revamping of it?
We're working on talking with a company about redoing it.
Yeah, I have some ideas, and I actually have a couple people who have lived it. Need more information or help?
In that regard, would be, and I don't know if it's possible, if we get the minutes at least a little more current than they currently are, 6 months behind.
But we're working on it.
So the AMR program is ongoing, like you described, websites working on that. As of last meeting, we discussed and I thought about what regards to the vacancy we had and how we went about electing the new member. I have kind of there's 2 options I think that we can present to this on table. Option 1, which I do not agree with, is go partisan, which in the PC committee vote the office, which I don't really agree with that. Second option maybe, and maybe Jack should verify this in work, is maybe the charter, if you, I don't know if I like this either, but maybe if you ran for that particular seat, or you ran for that particular election, that you are automatically disqualified to run or to be chosen to be part of the process. Maybe, I don't know if that's an idea you guys think about or not, I don't know, but that would definitely, if you think about the history of what happened, that would definitely eliminate the problem we had. I don't know.
I don't know if it would eliminate it.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with it or not. I'm just saying that's something maybe we can put out there. That's any other ideas or comments, concerns? That's research I did, and I found out really there's only 2 options I can see offhand.
I think the third option would be, and I'll throw this out there, would be for the mayor to have a tiebreaker vote.
That could be an option.
There's options.
That could be an option.
We need to study that more.
That's definitely an option. Absolutely. Makes sense. But yeah, that's where it came with that. So, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. Gary, Mr. Toth, could we have a finance audit report?
Really, I think we took care of all of the open items at our last meeting, so I think that we would just have a regular finance and audit meeting next week. It's good.
Thank you. Public safety, Mr. Barnes?
Yes, safety report, I spoke with the fire chief on Friday. I believe you had his report. Chief, I don't know if there's anything additional that you want to add?
Nothing additional, good evening, everybody. Nothing additional. Continues to be increase in services, request for services for both fire and EMS. For us, it's not so much weather-related, it's just general medical conditions. And you note on the report there, the EMS deposits for this month are down. That was the right of Medicare. That has been withdrawn. So I guess
Anything else?
it's a busy month.
Yeah, that's right. Our next meeting is March the 11th, and I will say that in that period of time, I expect to have a more detailed report and based on meetings with both the police and fire chief. And with respect to the police chief, I will turn that part of my report over to you.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Tom Closet. Tom has 34 years of experience in Cotton Falls. He retired as chief December 31st. Mandatory retirement. He is, I'm asking for council's confirmation of his appointment after this meeting, in a special meeting, and I'd like to turn it over to Chief Boza to address the group and tell us what you've seen for the last couple of days and what you see for the future.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council folks and members of the audience. The last couple of days have been whirlwind, just getting to know the members of the police department, getting to know some of the council folks, and just basically finding my way around the new digs. I'm very impressed with what I see in the police department, both the equipment and the makeup of the personnel. I think it's a fine police department, and I feel very fortunate to be asked to lead the police department. Don't have too much to add. The mayor and I have discussed some of the future plans and ideas. One of the things that I had mentioned, and I think would fit in very well in the community, the nature of Munroe Falls, is perhaps starting a bicycle patrol, putting officers out on bicycles, making them more accessible to the neighborhoods and in the neighborhoods. We're focusing on getting our property room overhauled and getting a handle on what property we have and how we utilize property and tag property and training. I've just appointed one of the officers to oversee training. I think that's obviously very important. So got a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm excited to do what I can to make this a better place.
I'd like to also add that Monday started a new police clerk. Her name is Jamie Tortorici. I think I got that right. Her first day was Monday. Lou Connor turned in her resignation because she took a very nice job with another company. One of those offers that you couldn't refuse type things. And sad to see to lose Lou. She's been helping on the phone, helping Jamie find her way around, and so I think it's going to be a fast learning curve for both of them. And,
Chief, just kind of the staffing levels, are you comfortable with the current staffing levels?
Excuse me, Mr. Saul, I think at this point in time, it's too early for me to comment on it. This is only, today was my second day. Obviously, I have to look at call volume I know with the exit of Dave Smith, we're obviously down one full-time person. As far as staffing and covering the shifts, February appears to be covered. So that's something that I certainly would evaluate and speak with the mayor about my concerns.
Just so you know, you're down 3 from when I retired in 2005, full-time.
Okay. When I retired in Concord Falls, we were down 20
Oh, I know.
from yeah, I mean, it's all over, yeah.
Any other questions? Council, Chief?
The only thing, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I did get with that, just because of safety, I gave all the council and the mayor concern I had about the charter issues. So whenever, I don't know if it will be Mr. Morrison or wherever, I just don't want to be in a situation where we have a field file.
Mr. Morrison will be here for the special meeting.
So we should address it then.
That's fine. Okay, thank you, Mr. Stahl. Okay, on to Planning Commission, Mr. Pitts.
Planning Commission hasn't met since the last meeting. Next meeting will be on the March the 25th. I have one item that I don't quite understand because I thought we got rid of this. I'm going to have to ask the chief, or, excuse me, you're still the chief, Jim, to explain this. SGS tool we approved in addition, and now I found out it's went back to zoning, and now it's back here for approval again.
Actually, went to zoning, BZA for a variance, so they could build it at the same setback as the existing building. In addition, they received their variance, and now it's coming to planning for approval in addition.
Second time.
No, first time. Went to BZA first because they needed a variance.
But it was at planning first.
No, they went to planning.
Which, this edition, this building planning?
This would be at 55 South Main from Castle Drive corner.
Oh, it's the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Different.
Different.
The wrong side of the street.
And this would be where they have the personnel department, the training division,
Right.
and we're going to expand the offices.
So
And
this
we
is
wanted to
totally,
make sure that it's variance before they drew up the rest of the drawing.
so this is totally new.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. That's all I have, if there's any questions. Next planning will be, like I said, March 25th.
That's February.
February, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Pitts. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Busick.
As Park Board met last Wednesday, February 5th, that was a one-time special thing. It will revert to Thursday, first Thursday of the month beginning next month. Of course, the main subject, excuse me, was River Day, and the Park Board is well on their way for this year's River Day celebration, which will be on Saturday, May 17th. They have sent out all of their vendor letters to the vendors who appeared last year. They have the tent, chairs, and tables nailed down. They were actually able to get a better deal, getting more tables and chairs, and supposedly a brand new tent for about $175 less than last year. So that will be very welcome. The vendor had offered us a 40 by 100 tent as opposed to the 60 by 60 we normally have for the same money, but they did some quick calculation and felt that they would not be able for the outside vendors if we did that. So they had to decline the different dimensions. It would have given more space, but it would have wiped out the outside vendors, so it just was not as good. They would like, just to put it out there again, that there are currently 3 openings on the park board, so if anyone that might be interested in serving, we're always looking for more members. In addition, the park board would love volunteers just for River Day. There would be no long-term commitment, but if they'd be able to help out on that day, the more hands the better. The park board resident, Mr. Roser, has gotten in with a company that can provide us with a large industrial generator, and basically it would be the cost of $150 in the cost of diesel fuel. past years to have Thompson Electric do temporary drops. So they're definitely doing that, save the city good amount of money on that. It will provide the same number of drops as in prior years, so the vendors will still have their power needs met. And they were unsure if there was going to be a farmer's market preview this year. Mayor, do you happen to know if there's been any discussion with the folks who were going to
Have not, I'll ask Ian if she's been in touch with us.
Okay. That'd be good to know. And, let's see, the other thing was, oh yes, one of the park board members had the idea of reaching out to the Stowe Park Board to see if they, since they don't have a river of their own, they wanted to see if they might be interested in coordinating River Day with our park board, getting more helping hands to try to make the event a better success. And Mr. Roser sent out a email list of the vendors so that the members can go through and select the ones they'd like to do follow-ups with, just to confirm that we have all the vendors identified. And also, I tried to get a count earlier in the year so they can see if we have any vacancies to invite new vendors on board. So, planning is going on very well. Next park board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 6, 2014, 7 p.m. at Winter House. And that concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Just one comment. Did you tell Mr. Roser to make a kind of get with Ron Myers? Because Ron Myers does River Day, and I haven't really communicated well. So if you haven't reached out, that'd be great. And the generator that we discussed was a good idea. Just notice the low power, low or high power, low sounding generator is not going to actually produce a lot of sound.
Any other questions? Thanks, Mr. Busick. Now, community economic development, which I will be handling. The next Stowe Munroe Falls Chamber of Commerce meeting will be Tuesday, February 18th. It's a special meeting. The mayor of Stowe, Sarah Drew, and the mayor of Munroe Falls, Frank Larson, will do their State of the City addresses to the chamber. On Friday, the 14th, I'll be representing City of Munroe Falls at SUMA Western Reserve Hospital. They're having a special program with networking, and their guest speakers are going to be former football coach Jim Tressel and his wife, and a couple different doctors will be speaking. Just hot off the press, Stowe does have a large 4th of July parade. The theme's been chosen for this year. It's called America Celebrates Progress. Munroe Falls resident Matt Beach, Stowe Munroe Falls High School basketball player. If you saw in the paper, didn't kid's a super player, just scored over 1,000 points in his career. Quite an accomplishment. I think only 4 or 5 players in Stowe history have done that. Should honor him. He is a Munroe Falls resident. I will be attending. I got contacted by Congressman Dave Joyce's office. They're having a small business seminar on March 7th in Twinsburg at his regional office, and they're going to have people from the SBA, SBDC, USEAC, all these different groups to help small businesses. So I'll go there to learn and bring that information back to the community and to businesses to help. Joyce's office also contacted me in reference to there's some federal grants for the National Endowment for Arts that are available. And since the Laner House, we're doing a lot of art programs, I turned it over to Ann DeCola, and she was good enough. She's following up with it, and we'll probably be trying to write some grants to see if we get some federal money to help with our arts program within the community. The Akron Summit County Convention and Visitors Bureau sent me information. They've got a new sales and marketing program to position the greater Akron, Ohio area as an ideal destination for events of all types. They're unveiling all this information, and I'll present it to council when I get it. And another program of networking that I'll be attending to talk to businesses in April. Group that I was involved with the North Akron Chamber of Commerce just confirmed Bob DiBiasio, if you follow sports or Cleveland, he's the vice president of Cleveland Indians. He'll be our guest speaker on anyone interested, April 16th at Guys Party Center. I have details. And that's all my report for this evening. Any questions? That concludes this part of our committee meeting. Anyone that wants to make any comments, we have a sign-in sheet by Chief Boza. Please sign your name and
You want to do the voting?
yeah, while they're signing up, I forgot one thing. Ann Nicole did, which I'm going to continue, I forgot. Looking at my phone, I get a phone call. She did send me a report I have on my phone. I'm going to read this while those people are signing up. This is Community Economic Development Status Report from Ann. Some of these items we covered, but we go over them since we do have an audience. Safe routes to school. The kickoff meeting for Safe Routes to School was held last month. The purpose of this meeting was to introduce the school travel plan and its process. An STP team has been assembled and includes the superintendent, local school principals, health department, local government officials. To recap, STP is a guiding document to assist in improving walking and bicycling conditions for students. It also includes strategies for promoting and encouraging active transportation to and from school. The completion of a STP will enable us to apply for future funding through Ohio's Safe Routes to School program. Chamber of Commerce, an additional item that we'll be attending is the Industrial Breakfast Series, and that's going to be at Stowe City Hall on March 6th, 7:30 a.m. In addition, the Stillwater Falls Chamber will be presenting the Community Showcase. Showcase is one of the largest in the area, attracting more than 7,000 visitors. They have this event every other year. It's going to be April 5th, Saturday, 10 to 5, April 6th, 11 to 4 at Munroe Falls High School. City of Munroe Falls will be participating in this. Local business staff continues to meet with businesses interested in opening their doors in the City of Munroe Falls. We encourage these initial conversations so that all parties can learn more about each other. New businesses as Zertan and Silver Valley Plaza opened last week. The Laner Community Center, what's going on there for seniors. Domino's on Tuesday, 12:30, poker Friday at 12 o'clock, Bridge Club, third Monday of each month, 12:45. Change of plans. We'll provide a shorter schedule of senior events at the Laner Center this year. We've decided to kick off the program with the second annual resource fair on Wednesday, April 3rd, 3 o'clock. At this event, participants can learn more about their valuable senior-oriented products and services. Last year's fair was well attended. Then we'll present, there's a No Place Like Home information series. May 14, the theme will be protecting homes for aging residents. July, the program will be non-medical emotional topics. September, preparations, legal, active lifestyles. Other topics we'd like to offer include VA benefits presented by Summit County Veterans Service and the Medicare and Medicaid presented by Summit County officials. Look for more details soon. Speaking to the farmers market, she is on the 2004 season will begin on Tuesday, June 3rd at Guys Park. The hours of operation have yet to be determined. The FFA is seeking vendors, and anyone interested should contact City Hall. And that's Ann's nice report. Any questions on that?
I'm just curious, how's the senior community doing there now? Anyone know they doing well there, or a lot of people attending to the event?
I attended that senior fair they had last year. They had a lot of people. A lot of people.
Good.
That,
Yeah, it's being used constantly throughout the week. We have a variety of different, during the day, we have a variety of different games. When these dominoes, we have a bridge. You probably have close to 6 tables of people playing bridge. They have a Friday, I believe, is poker day. And plus the art classes. I think they're going to have another art show if you didn't get to attend the last one. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, what is-
There's a lot of talent there that was shown. It's very surprising. And so,
Good.
values, and we're looking at getting some painting done in a couple of the other rooms, getting spruced up, getting the wallpaper off, and getting them presentable because they're being used.
All right, thank you. Okay, now we can start here. I'll state your name, and then if you approach the podium, state your name and your address. We'll start with Shane Stahl.
Good evening, members of council, Mr. Mayor, Fire Chief, Service Director, Mr. President. I've been in attendance the last couple of council meetings, and I have to say I'm rather disappointed in the way that things have turned out in this day and age of where it seems to be that dirty politics are becoming more and more common. The process of government is as integral as anything. And I feel that the process of government here in Munroe Falls has been disrespected. As was brought up, as it's been said will be addressed later, it is my opinion that the actions of the mayor have violated the charter of the city of Munroe Falls, specifically Article 9, Section 9.03, and Article 20, Section 20.10. It's my understanding is that this will be addressed when Mr. Morrison gets here, as he can assumedly speak to the legality of the charter, so I will reserve my comments on that issue. Another thing I wanted to bring up was that I'm sure everybody saw the article in the Journal last week regarding the fire and termination of Mr. Myers. And in that article, which I read thoroughly, the very last sentence was that the mayor would not bring the issue of terminating the chief to council until he had his appointment of the vacant seat, because he knew how council would vote. He knew. So my question is, how do you know the votes of council unless you're speaking to them outside of chambers, and unless you're having regular discussions with them before you bring them into session? It seems awfully convenient to me that your appointment, within 10 minutes of being sworn into council, had an opinion, felt he was informed to make a decision on this man. And so my question is, was this appointment political in nature? And my specific question would be, Mr. Busick, before you were appointed, did you have a conversation with this mayor about the termination of Mr. Myers? I would like an answer.
Unfortunately, these matters are personnel related, and we're not able to.
Of course, hide behind personnel, I understand. The other thing that I would like to bring up is that there's a case right now in the Summit County, Court of Common Pleas. If you'd like to look it up, the case number is CV 2011-07-4061. And this case concerns our recently retired Sergeant Dave Smith. Dave Smith was not bargained with correctly. The city actually refused to bargain with him back in 2011. So he was denied holiday pay. He had days that he could work taken away from him. He was forced to pay higher insurance premiums. And this case has been argued, and Mr. Morrison has insisted on appealing this case, attempted to appeal it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court came back and said, Mr. Morrison, you have no ground to stand on. Dave Smith is owed by this city just short of $9,000 in back pay, holiday pay, and missed opportunities. In fact, this judgment was granted, the appeal was granted in 2013. The city did not pay, and on January 26, 2014, an order to show cause